want to talk about modesty for a few minutes. What we mean by modesty, at least from the religious perspective, and specifically with regard to Judaism and Islam, which surprisingly enough share some very common threads, is, for example, the idea of me, if I were a married man, to not shake the hand of any other woman who is not the woman I am married to. And the same would go for the woman I'm married to. If she's out, out and about shopping or whatever, and encounters any other man, then of course, if he were to offer to shake hands, innocently enough, she would refuse because that's just part of the custom. When I was living in California and became friendly with a rabbi and his family, this is the first time that I actually encountered this custom. I had not been familiar with it before. I hadn't known about it. I myself grew up in a home of, let's say, some tradition, but not nearly Orthodox or ultra-Orthodox or Chabad. And this particular family was under the Chabad tradition. And so when, of course, naturally I went to shake the hand of the rabbi's wife, Rebbitzin, she just immediately refused, and I felt kind of like I'd done something wrong, but of course realized quickly, no, this is just customary, and so that's the response. The same goes for Islam, and I think this all gets lost when we get caught up in the whole pro-Palestine or Israel-Palestine blah 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 whole debate situation, particularly on the college campuses now. There's no ability to actually break through what's just a bunch of chaos and noise. I would be interested, as someone who's no longer a college student and hasn't been for some time now, to know what conversations are actually taking place, because as we know, the media is just going to either only show certain things or not have access to other things, or even if they do have the access, they're not going to show it because blah blah blah. They have an agenda, obviously, to only show certain snippets. But I'd be curious to know, because when I was in college, I think a lot of the conversations were very open-minded, but at the same time, there was this consistent attempt to just shut down conversation altogether, which I think is just not a productive thing to do. And so I think it's important to remember that there are actually more similarities between Judaism and Islam, and it's unfortunate that all that gets lost in just like the massive distraction that's out there, which is just this narrative saying that the Jews and Palestinians can never get along. And the fact of the matter is, most of them pretty much are getting along, I think, on the ground. It's really Hamas that's doing this dirty work to try to prevent any stability in the region. And that is unfortunate. And if, you disagree with me and you think Israel is the oppressor and, there's no room for debate, then I do feel sorry for you, and I really, really hope that you will seek out the correct textbooks and other resources in order to educate yourself more properly. Thank you.